Okay, today's video is going to be something a little bit different. And we're going to talk about reality transurfing and becoming an entrepreneur, what you need to know about it as an entrepreneur, and what is my origin story. Because that origin story is going to go live on Instagram. And then I'm going to head back over here and talk about it with you. I don't know what that was all about, but welcome back. Because today my book released and I didn't write it for the reasons you might think. I wrote it for healing. If you like it, great, but it was all about me, selfishly. But as an entrepreneur, I'm here today to tell you my origin story of where everything got started. And ironically and weirdly, it was a bathroom stall, of all places. And I was in that stall this morning because this happened in 2007, 2008. I worked at LA Fitness. Today, I work out at that gym. And it's funny because I was in that stall. I write about the stall in my book, but I got an email on my BlackBerry when I was in that stall when I worked there. And it was a nothing new. It was a bullying email from the stepmom. And so I had what is called a dissociative breakdown, but I had what you might call a nervous breakdown after I got that email. And it was nothing new, nothing different, but just bullying as she always did. And it was funny because that is the origin story of Stop the Mind Screw. Because after I had that breakdown, I turned a corner in my life. And today I teach others how to turn that corner because it's really simple and you make flow a priority. That's number one. And number two, you embrace the suck. So I did a video on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago about embracing the suck because really and truly, the suck, the yuck, the bad things are going to happen probably more than the really, really good. So I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, check out my book, and also follow me and join me on this journey because guess what? Spoiler alert, the journey and the destination are one. So I may have reached my destination by writing my book and releasing my story, but I now am moving on another journey. And I hope you follow me and you enjoy this as much as I do. Have any questions, please shoot me a DM or leave a comment on this video. I'd be happy to chat with you. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste. Okay, so that was my random video, but that bathroom stall, I will have a picture of it on this YouTube video because here's the thing. It's so funny how everything comes full circle, and especially when you pay attention to what's going on in your world and how many synchronicities just show up. Because I was in that bathroom stall, I was listening to Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall, and she talked about the origin story, and I'm like, holy bleep, bleep. This is my origin story. This restroom stall. Because yes, I got an email from the stepmom. It was a bullying email. It was nothing new. It wasn't even that bad, really and truly. But it sent me in a spiral that went out of control. As I talked about on my video a few weeks ago, I talked about embracing the suck. And that's all. That's all. I learned how to embrace the suck along the way because honestly, with our negativity bias that we have going on and that kind of stuff, the suck happens. The suck does happen. And when you learn to embrace it, it makes everything look differently. When you make flow a priority, it also helps with everything. And here's a little example of how I do that. Oh my gosh, uploading that book, all the technology that went with it was so freaking frustrating. So I started uploading it and I had all these issues. I would get up and walk away and go for a walk outside and it would refresh my mind. I'd have a talk with myself. Self-talk is huge. And I would talk about, hey, Kathie, we just need to calm down. It's gonna be okay. Everything works out to your advantage. So here's where we're jumping into reality transurfing. Because there are 4 principles in reality transurfing that I talk about and Stop the Mind Screw all the time. Number 1 is advantage. You find advantage in everything because I promise you, it is always there. If you want to look at positivity as toxic, go right ahead, knock your lights out. You're probably not watching my content because you're fighting for victim mentality when you do that. So everything works to my advantage. Yes, does it suck right now? Absolutely. That's why I say embrace the suck because it's going to happen. Number 2, we talk about pendulums. Pendulums are so important. And what happens with a pendulum is it is just a thought structure that everybody thinks and it only wants your energy. And so, studying reality transurfing, I learned how to deal with pendulums, how to not let them trigger me, because as a survivor of complex post traumatic stress disorder, I can tell you triggers come along all the time. We all have triggers. But when you learn how to respond to the pendulum, you sit back and either observe it or follow along with humor. For example, I see my origin story now as a bathroom stall. Now that's funny because that is hilarious. And I also come full circle in my book that I talk about how I rewrote all my stories, all the pendulums that prodded me along the way, and how I look at them from a different perspective. Now, that perspective came from the book Psychocybernetics and the rewritten version of it, or the Matt Fury rewrote that book, or he has his input in it. And at the end of the book, he tells a story about how he rewrote a situation in a bar fight, that bar fight that almost killed him, that scarred his face for life. And he rewrote that in the way where he had a beer bottle thrown at him, and he rewrote it as that was a feather coming at him. He saw sympathy for his victimizer. There you go. That is what helps so friggin' much that it changes your perspective on everything. So we talk about advantage, we talk about pendulums, we talk about outer intention. Outer intention is just your intuition's intention. Your intuition's intention. So maybe you call it God, maybe you call it a higher being, maybe you call it your guardian angels. To me, outer intention is just listening to that, getting in touch with that. What happens when you let go of victim mentality is you start to see synchronicities everywhere. Those synchronicities are the bomb. I can't tell you how proficient and how wonderful those things are because they will guide you on your path. They will send you in the direction that you need to go. And on top of that, you've got advantage always taking care of you. Importance is the next thing that we talk about in reality transurfing, and why us as entrepreneurs always need to embrace the importance. Because when you keep importance low, sometimes it's impossible to drop total importance. You can't drop importance on your family. I've talked about that on my channel before, but you can reduce importance. And so today is a special day for me because I just released my book. I didn't write that book for anybody but me. If you read it and you like it, great. If I make money off of it, great. That was not my intention. My intention is to help me. And that book helped me, writing that book helped me realize so many different aspects of my life from using Notion. And I highly recommend Notion. That's how I wrote my whole book because I came up with ideas for different chapters and I'd write lines down in there and then I'd write the whole thing and then I'd download it into a PDF and I downloaded it into another document. But I learned just so much along the way that it wasn't even about my book, my story. It was just about my journey. So here is the bottom line. And like I closed my live on Instagram, as you saw, what happened there was the journey and the destination are one. So I've reached a destination, but guess what? Now I'm on another journey that is just building blocks on there, kind of like the way Notion works. It's like a building block on top of a building block on top of a building block. Like you can learn so much about Notion, but I get to a point where I'm like, okay, that's overwhelming. Guess what? I know I'm out of flow. So I'm going to step away and walk away. And I've learned little bits and pieces of Notion along the way. And I hope to start teaching it on here. But right now, I'm staying in my lane, which is all about life coaching and some fitness and all that great stuff. So, having said all that, that is my video for today. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody. And also, thank you for listening and being part of the community. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace out and namaste. Bye.